7 exercises, 3 sets on each exercise. That's 21 sets, guys. That's a real workout. Hi guys, I'm Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and today's workout has been getting men over 50 jacked for at least 5 years now. So how does that work? Well, I'm going to throw y'all a curveball. I'm going to do something a little different. In case you didn't know, I created an at-home workout program about 5 years ago called Fit After 50. It was a huge success from the very beginning. I know we've sold way over 100,000 copies all over the world, and tens of thousands of men have used that 3-phase, 3-month program to build muscle and lose a ton of fat. Basically, they're getting jacked. All right. So it's 3 phases, and of course each phase is designed to do different things, and it's also designed to keep things really fresh, because when the workouts are fun and interesting, you stick with it a lot longer. And the program is designed to be done entirely at home with nothing but resistance bands and dumbbells. That's it. Real straightforward. No gym membership. So, matter of fact, the program was so successful, a couple years after I created that, I was asked to create a second 3-phase program, and it was called Warrior Strong, and I'll get into that in another video, but that was a military-style workout program. But to give you guys a feel for what this Fit After 50 program is like, today's workout that you're going to watch are the exact videos that we use in the program itself. And I was just kind of shuffling through it. So I found, I think this is a Monday workout in phase 2. So these are the exercises in the order that you do them. And you're actually going to see me in the videos performing each exercise. It's a big video library that comes with the program. And I'm just going to kind of narrate it just a little bit and transition from one exercise to the next. But you're going to see right now what a typical workout looks like. All right, so guys, we're going to step through the 7 exercises here in just a second, and you're going to actually see me performing the exercises in the videos. But remember, you do 3 sets of each exercise before moving on to the next exercise, and you rest about 1 minute in between those sets. And then of course, when you transition to the next exercise, you also rest a minute. It's real straightforward. All right, so guys, this is a printout of the actual workout, the instructions. And then of course, along with the PDF files, you get access to a video library that you're about to watch. So the very first exercise is something called a bridge press. So take it away, Mark. All right, I want to show you how to do a dumbbell bridge press, but instead of doing 2 hands at the same time, I want to do alternating. So I'm going to get into position, of course, the same way. Gonna bring my butt up in there, okay? Get my pelvis up, and I'm going to press 1 hand at a time. Now, my off hand or my low hand is not resting on the ground, so my elbow never touches the ground. And this just is a great way to do alternating bridge presses. Another way, change things up, get that muscle confusion going. All right, guys, so after doing exercise number 1, you're supposed to rest about 60 seconds before moving on to number 2, which are lateral raises. This exercise, you're gonna notice that you're not gonna be able to use a lot of weight, okay? And the reason that you can't use much weight is because we're gonna be lifting the dumbbell out to our side like this, okay? And so the weight is way out here, okay? And the force that's being applied by my shoulder muscle has a mechanical disadvantage over the weight. It's so far out here, okay? That's why you can't lift a lot of weight. So pick a weight that you can do with really good form, all right? And then let me show you how to do this. This is a fantastic exercise for the lateral head of our delts. Now guys, let me show you here. Once again, my mind-muscle connection, I'm focusing on trying to bring my elbows up, okay?
Okay, don't bring the weight up like this, okay? I want you to get that elbow up nice and high, and then the dumbbells will just follow along, okay?
All right, so your shoulders should be getting a pump, a little burn now, but it's time to move on to exercise number 3. All right, only 60 seconds rest. Time to do some chest flies.
All right, guys, I'm going to show you how to do chest flies with a high anchor position. This is a great exercise for targeting the lower part of our chest. And the reason we're going to be hitting the lower part is because the anchor's up high. I'm going to have to lean down and forward, and I'm going to squeeze my hands together down low, okay? That puts the emphasis down here on the lower part of your pecs. That's why we're doing this exercise. You might notice I got 3 sets of bands on here. You guys are going to have to figure out exactly how many bands and what colors you're going to need for these different exercises. And be sure to write it down. There's no way to remember this from week to week. Now, I put my back foot up against the door, and then I'm going to lean forward, okay? And the bands are really trying to pull me backwards, so I'm gonna have to really lean forward and engage my core. And because these are flies, I'm gonna start with my hands out here, and I wanna just feel like I'm hugging a barrel. So my elbows are slightly bent, and they remain at that same bent angle throughout the entire range of motion here. So guys, I'm not pushing, I'm flying, I'm bringing, I'm squeezing my hands together here, guys. Guys, the tempo, I want nice, slow, controlled tempo, and then hold it at the bottom of the movement for a split second, and then slowly bring your hands back up. That is how you do a fly with a high anchor.
All right, so after those flies are done, give yourself about a minute's rest. And we're gonna work our triceps now in exercise 4.
I think tricep pushdowns with bands are one of the best all-around exercises you can do for your triceps. Now guys, you got a big chunk of the muscle in your upper arm is actually your tricep, even bigger than your bicep. So a lot of people neglect triceps, and that's a big mistake. Now this is a fantastic movement for hitting those big triceps. I'm going to be using a band with a high anchor here. Let me show you how to do this. I'm going to get down on my knees, and of course you need to pick a band with the correct weight for you, okay? And I'm just going to slightly bend over at the waist here, okay? Just a little bend, and I'm going to keep my elbows nice and still and tucked into my side. All right? So I'm going to be focusing on trying to keep my elbows in one place and literally just pushing down the handles until my arms are locked out at the bottom of the movement. So all the way down, lock the movement, hold it for a split second, and then smoothly and slowly resist the bands on the way up. And guys, the key to this exercise is form, okay? I see people cheating and moving their elbows around and pushing down with their chest like this. It's not a chest exercise. You want to keep your elbows tucked in still and literally just push the handles down and hinge at your elbow. You're going to feel a fantastic pump after you do this.
All right. Getting a little pump now, right? We've already done 4 different exercises. Time to do exercise number 5, push-ups.
All right, I want to show you how to do a push-up with your head elevated. Now, the reason we're going to be doing it this way is because it's going to target slightly different areas of our chest. So when our head is elevated and you're doing a push-up, you're pushing slightly downward at a downward angle instead of straight in front of you like a standard push-up. So, and the other thing is when your head is elevated like this and your feet are on the ground back here, you have less weight on your chest, which means it's going to be easier to do. All right, guys? Now, I like to do them on a coffee table. You can do them on a chair, a couch, anything. It's up to you. Just find something that's sturdy. All right, same form as a standard push-up. I don't want my butt sticking way up in the air like this. I don't want it sagging down. I want to try to keep my body as straight as possible, okay? And my hands are at the same shoulder width distance apart. And I'm just going straight up and down. Now, I want you to notice where the edge of the coffee table comes to relative to my chest. It's coming to the lower part of my chest. So if I'm too far away, like this, I'm coming down to my face, and if I'm too close, then the edge of the coffee table comes to my stomach. So you want to find a distance away from the coffee table so that when you come down, the edge of the coffee table hits you at the bottom part of your chest. Another great exercise for our chest, our shoulders, and our triceps.
All right, let's move it on down the road, guys. Another minute rest, and we're going to do exercise 6, which are rear delt flies.
Rear delt flies are another great exercise for our shoulders, and just like face pulls, they're targeting the rear part of our shoulder or our rear delt muscle. So guys, I'm going to show you how to do it with some bands and a high anchor here. All right, so this exercise is similar to face pulls in that we need to kind of lean back slightly and preload the tension on the bands. But instead of pulling like this to my face, I want to keep my arms in front of me, elbows slightly bent, and I'm literally going to do a reverse fly. So guys, you do not have to have a completely straight arm when you're doing this exercise. See how I have a very slight bend in my elbow, and I try to kind of keep that same bend throughout the full range of motion here. And then at the top of the movement here, I'm trying to focus on pulling my elbows back. I'm not really worried about the handles. I'm focused on trying to get my elbows back behind me as far as I can, and then hold it, squeeze it for a split second, and then release it with a nice, smooth, controlled motion.
And then, of course, the last exercise today after one more minute rest is exercise number 7, and that's an overhead tricep extension.
Overhead tricep extensions using bands and a high anchor is a great way to get all the muscles on the back part of our arm. Remember guys, your triceps are actually bigger than your biceps, so don't neglect them. All right, now the key to doing this correctly is we have to preload the tension in these bands, which means I'm gonna have to step away from the door, and then I'm gonna keep 1 foot back and 1 foot forward, okay? Because I'm gonna have to really lean into this exercise. So you need to get a nice stable base, okay? And I'm gonna bring my elbows just kind of right in front of my face here, and I'm gonna try to keep them as still as possible throughout the entire range of motion, all right? And this is all I'm doing here, guys. You gotta keep things still when it comes to your elbows and smooth and controlled as you're working the handles backwards and forwards, okay? You can lock it out at the top of the movement here. I want my elbows nice and locked, and then slowly return the handles and control that resistance throughout the entire range of motion, guys. So don't use your body weight, okay? Don't be moving back and forth. I want you to try to keep your body and your elbows as still as possible. Great way to get a good pump.
All right, so there you go, guys. 7 exercises, 3 sets on each exercise, 21 sets, guys. That's a real workout, but that is considered a push day. So we're hitting all the muscles in your upper body that you use when you're pushing, all right? Chest, shoulders, triceps. There's also another day in the workout program called a pull day, and of course that's back and biceps. That's a different video. But this stuff will get you jacked, guys, but only if you stick with it and never give up on yourself.